but not really. You walk, you talk, you make decisions, but there's something inside you screaming in silence, something you can't name. It's that strange feeling of being alive but not present, of existing without inhabiting your own life. And the worst part is that you think you're the only one who feels this way. You're not. Millions of people live trapped in that same invisible cage, a mental prison they built without realizing it. But there's something different in you now, something that brought you here. Maybe it's the exhaustion of playing a character you never chose, or maybe it's that emptiness that no purchase, no distraction, no relationship can fill. Whatever brought you here, it's the sign. The door is slightly open, and what you're about to discover will change the way you perceive every second of your existence. There are silent signs whispering that something deep is moving within you, signs most people ignore because they're afraid of what they mean. Because awakening isn't pretty, it's not instant light and peace, it's seeing the truth, and the truth hurts before it sets you free. So if you feel like your world is falling apart, if everything you believed was solid now seems fragile, you're not losing your sanity, you're about to find it. We're going to go through these 10 signs, and if you recognize more than 3, get ready, because your spiritual awakening has already begun. First sign. Time feels different. Suddenly you realize you've been living on autopilot. Days go by and you can't remember what you did. Weeks blur together, months disappear. It's as if you'd been asleep for years, and now for the first time, you're truly opening your eyes. You start to notice every detail, the texture of the air, the sound of silence, the way the light shifts at sunset. It's not that the world changed, it's that you stopped living in your head and started being here, in the now. Eckhart Tolle would call this stepping out of psychological time, that mental space where you live trapped between the past that no longer exists and the future that hasn't arrived. And when you step out of that, when you truly inhabit the present, time stops being your enemy. You're no longer chasing it, you simply are. But this is frightening, because we've been trained to believe that thinking about the past and worrying about the future means being responsible, when in reality, it's the surest way to miss the only life you have. This one, here, in this instant. Second sign. The things that once excited you now feel empty. That job that defined you, that relationship you thought was your purpose, those plans you repeated like a mantra suddenly lose meaning. And it's not depression, though it feels similar, it's clarity. It's seeing through the illusion that external things can fulfill you. For years you sought happiness in objects, achievements, people, and it worked for a while, but now you see the trap. Nothing external can give you what you seek, because what you seek isn't out there, it's inside, waiting for you to stop running. Society sold you the lie that you are what you have, what you achieve, what others think of you. And now that you're beginning to awaken, you see it's all smoke. The ego feeds on those identifications. It needs titles, possessions, recognition to feel real. But you are not your ego. You are the consciousness that observes the ego, and once you begin to realize this, the entire game changes. The things that once mattered become irrelevant, and what was invisible becomes sacred. A sunrise, an honest conversation, the simple act of breathing. Third sign. You feel a deep loneliness, even surrounded by people. It's not that you lack company, it's that you feel disconnected from a world still functioning on autopilot. Shallow conversations drain you, forced laughter sounds hollow, and being in groups makes you feel more alone than being with yourself. It's because you're starting to see beyond the masks, and once you see the masks, it's impossible not to see your own. Most people live playing a role, saying what's expected, acting how they should, and you can no longer follow the script. That loneliness isn't something to fix, it's a necessary phase. It's the space you need to hear yourself without the noise of others' expectations. Tolle would speak of the pain body, that accumulation of unprocessed emotional suffering we all carry. And when you begin to awaken, that pain surfaces. Loneliness is part of that process. It's the pain body asking to be seen, felt, released. Don't run from it, because on the other side lies the peace you're seeking. Fourth sign. Your relationships begin to fall apart or transform radically. The people who were once close drift away, not because you've changed negatively, but because you no longer vibrate at the same frequency. Relationships based on ego, neediness, or codependence don't survive awakening. And it hurts because you believe those people were part of you. But the truth is, many relationships only existed because both of you were asleep. Now that you're waking up, the mirror breaks and they aren't ready to see what it reflects. Some people will leave, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to accompany you on this journey, but the ones who stay, the ones who are also awakening or open to growth, those relationships become deeper, more authentic. They stop being transactional and become spaces of truth. The ego seeks relationships that reinforce it, validate it, soothe it. Consciousness seeks relationships that challenge it, expand it, keep it present. When you begin to awaken, your relationships become mirrors, and not everyone is ready to see their reflection. Fifth sign. You feel an inexplicable urgency to change your life. It's as if something inside you knows time is running out, not literally, but in the sense that you can no longer postpone what you came here to do. The excuses that once worked no longer hold weight. The fear is still there, but it no longer paralyzes you. There's a force pushing you to move, to decide, to release what no longer serves you. It's awakening knocking on your door with urgency, reminding you that life isn't a rehearsal, it's the main act, and you've been sitting in the audience for too long. That urgency isn't anxiety, though at first it feels like it. It's clarity. It's your being reminding you that you came here to live, not to survive. The ego will tell you to wait, to overplan, to minimize risk. But awakening doesn't wait, because it knows the only real moment is this one. Tolle teaches that true action arises from presence, not fear or egoic need. When you feel that urgency paired with clarity, it's not impulsiveness, it's intuition. It's your essence telling you it's time to move. Sixth sign. You start questioning everything. The beliefs you inherited from your family, the religion you were given, the social norms you followed without thinking. Everything begins to crumble under the weight of your questions. And it's not rebellion for rebellion's sake, it's a search for truth. You can no longer accept prefabricated answers. You need to experience, feel, know for yourself. This makes others uncomfortable because your questions force them to confront their own answers, and most people aren't ready for that. They prefer the comfort of false certainty over the discomfort of honest doubt. But you already crossed that line. Questioning isn't losing faith, it's seeking a real one that needs no defense because it's rooted in your direct experience, not in what you are told you must believe. Awakening is fundamentally a crisis of meaning. Everything you thought defined you or gave you purpose is put into question. And that's terrifying because the ego needs certainties to feel safe. But the truth is, certainty is an illusion. Life is constant change, and awakening teaches you to flow with that change instead of resisting it. Seventh sign. You feel physical pain without medical explanation, unexplained headaches, pressure in the chest, back tension, deep fatigue. You go to the doctor and nothing shows up. It's because awakening isn't just mental, it's physical too. Your body is releasing trapped energy, stored trauma, repressed emotions. Tolle speaks of the body as the anchor to the present moment, and when you begin to awaken, the body becomes the battlefield between ego and consciousness. The ego lives in the mind, in thoughts about past and future. Consciousness lives in the body, in the now. And when you begin to inhabit your body, everything that was hidden comes to light. The physical pain during awakening is a purge. Don't ignore it, don't medicate it without first listening. Ask what? It's trying to tell you, because the body doesn't lie, and if it hurts, it's because something needs to be felt and released. Most people live disconnected from their bodies, trapped in their heads. Awakening forces you back to feel, to inhabit your physical form as the temple it always was. 8th sign. Your dreams become intense, vivid, sometimes prophetic. It's as if during the day you're waking up, and at night your subconscious is processing everything that's changing. You dream of symbolic situations, people from the past, scenarios that feel real. These aren't just dreams, they're messages. Your unconscious mind is trying to communicate, showing you what you need to see, what you need to release, what is emerging. Dreams during awakening are portals. They're the way your deeper self speaks when the ego isn't guarding the door. Pay attention, write down what you remember, look for patterns, because those dreams contain the answers your conscious mind can't reach. Tolle teaches that awakening is awakening from the dream of form, the dream of believing you are your story, your past, your crafted identity. And when you begin to awaken from that dream, your nighttime dreams become clearer, more direct, because there are fewer layers of denial to penetrate. 9th sign. You feel deep compassion for all living beings. You see suffering in others and feel it as your own, not in a way that sinks you, but in a way that connects you. You can no longer ignore the world's pain, but you also don't get lost in it. It's as if you see through the masks and recognize in every person the same struggle, the same fear, the same longing. That compassion isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's seeing that we are all trapped in our own versions of the same dream, and that awakening isn't just for you, it's a collective movement. When one awakens, it opens the path for others to follow. You don't have to preach or convince anyone. Your presence alone, your peace, your clarity is enough. That's what Tolle calls conscious presence, being so rooted in the now that your energy becomes medicine for others. Authentic compassion doesn't arise from thought, it emerges from presence. When you are present, when you don't judge, when you simply are, others feel that space and begin to loosen their own armor. That is true transformation, not what you preach, but what you embody. 10th sign. You feel peace in the midst of chaos. It's not that your life suddenly became perfect, it's that you changed the way you relate to it. The problems are still there, challenges don't disappear, but they no longer drag you under. There is a center within you that remains still no matter what storm is happening outside. This peace doesn't come from controlling your environment. It comes from releasing the need to control. It's deep acceptance of what is. And here's the paradox. When you accept what is, you have more power to change it, because resistance drains energy, while acceptance frees it. Tolle says it clearly. Surrender is not defeat, it's intelligence. It's recognizing that fighting the present moment is fighting life itself. And when you stop fighting, when you surrender to what is, you discover it was never the enemy. The enemy was always your resistance. That peace in the midst of chaos is the clearest sign that your awakening isn't just an idea, it's a lived reality. Because peace isn't the absence of problems, it's presence in the midst of them. If you recognize these signs, if something within you resonated with every word, it's not a coincidence. You're standing at the threshold of awakening, and though the path isn't easy, though there will be moments when you'll want to go back to sleep because awakening hurts, remember this: you can't go back. Once you see the truth, you can't pretend you didn't. Awakening is irreversible, and though it sometimes feels like a curse, it's the greatest gift you can receive. Because on the other side of this process is the most authentic version of yourself, the one who doesn't need masks, the one unafraid of being seen, the one who lives from the center, from presence, from the now. So now I ask you, what will you do with this information? Will you ignore it and return to the comfort of the familiar, or will you dare to follow the signs and see where they lead? Because this isn't a game, it's your life, and every passing second is an opportunity to be present or to remain asleep. The choice has always been yours, but now you know, and knowing changes everything. If this message reached you, if something inside resonated, leave the word awakening in the comments. Not for me, but for you, as a commitment to yourself that you won't ignore the signs anymore. Because awakening isn't a destination, it's a path. And that path begins now, in this instant, with the decision to be present. You can no longer postpone the inevitable. Your awakening is calling you, and the question is no longer if, but when you'll stop resisting and finally respond. And if you want to go deeper on this path, if you want more content that helps you stay awake in a world constantly pushing you to sleep, subscribe to this channel. You won't find pretty lies or empty promises here. You'll find uncomfortable truths that make you grow. Every video is a tool for your awakening, every word crafted to shake you out of the collective dream. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any content, because awakening is a continuous process and you need constant reminders amid the noise of the world. This channel is for those ready to see the truth, for those who can no longer pretend everything is fine when they feel something deep within is changing. Subscribe now, because the next video might be exactly what you need to take the next step on your path. Don't let the algorithm decide your awakening. Take control and make sure you're here every time we upload. See you in the next video, and remember, the now is all you have.